morning. Wow. What a day. Oh, that's not good. That was an accident I just passed. That's not good. Okay, pray for the people in the accident that they're okay. They got the street blocked off. Look, it's going to be a great day. Not for them, but for us. First, big shout out. I got to yell it loud because she's in Australia and I don't want her to miss it. Hey, Claire. Hey, my Australian buddy, my sister from another mister. How are ya? Good morning. How's that coffee? I bet that coffee's good. She says she watches this while she drinks her coffee. It's awesome. Second shout out to my buddy Mark. Used to work with Mark. Mark's a great guy. Really like him. Mark gave me this idea for this rant. He gave me the idea for this rant. All right. We don't like Ron Johnson. That's one of the things Mark and I have in common is we can't stand Ron Johnson. We don't like him. He's a horrible senator. He says the dumbest things. And he's awful. It's time for him to go. And there are 6 senators who are incumbents this year who have a really good shot of getting their asses thrown out because they suck. People have had it. They've had it. They've had it with not working. They've had it with not doing your jobs. Senator Ron Johnson says, we're doing our job. By not voting for the Supreme Court Justice. We're doing our job. No, you're not. The Constitution says you were supposed to advise and consent with the president. That's what it says. And by saying, we're not going to vote because we're spoiled children, that's not doing your job. Our founding fathers are rolling in their graves, people, and how bad it is. It leads me back to that's why we need something that's not a two-party system. At least if we ground to the halt, you could throw the guy out. Some people just vote straight Democratic. Some people vote straight Republican. It's no longer about the person. Those people who say, I vote for the person, they lie. They either don't vote in every election or they're not paying attention. They're voting one way or another. To think that you've always got to be a Republican, no matter how stupid it is. Another thing that drives me crazy is being a one-issue something. Well, I like this candidate because I like what he says on gun control. I like this candidate because he's anti-abortion and so am I. Really? He's anti-abortion. I'm going to pick on he's anti-abortion, but he's not pro-life because he also votes against free lunches in schools. He votes against helping poor people. But, hey, he's against abortion, so that's good enough. But anyway, getting back to what Mark and I were talking about, Mark said, and I'm not going to quote, I'm going to paraphrase, sorry, Mark. Mark basically said, I'd love to see him when he's emptying his office. When we throw him out, he's empty. And I said, that would be cool. Why don't we set up a webcam? And then he said, why don't we set up a webcam in all of their offices? And that's a good idea. He said, we have police officers with dash cams. They got cameras on their person. They got cameras all over their cars to make sure they're doing a good job. Why don't we do that? He didn't repeat himself. I repeat myself. What are you going to do? I'm old. Okay? I'm old. Why don't we do that for the congressional people, the senators, our congressmen and women? That's a great idea. I'm like, Mark, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. You know, the sun left. It was here, said good morning, and then it said, I got to go because it's now cloudy. Anyway, don't you love listening to a rant with somebody with ADHD? Don't you? I'm getting a little parched. Hang on. I'm also stopped at a stoplight. Just want you to know. I don't. Okay, so, isn't that a great idea? We should sign a petition. We should do something. I'm not exactly sure how we would get this passed, but every meeting they have, I want it recorded. If the NSA can gather up all of the data on our phone calls, which they gather, but they can't go into it without a warrant. If the NSA can do that, then why the heck can't we force senators and congressmen that they're not allowed to have meetings unless they're on camera? Unless they're on camera. What are you doing that you're afraid of? Let me just say, I try not to mention work, but I won't mention work. I go to meetings all the time. I went to a lunch meeting yesterday with the director of another division. We had a nice talk. There was nothing I said at that meeting that if you recorded it and played it for my boss, that I wouldn't stand behind, that I wouldn't say to her. So what are the congressmen doing? Now I get there's some national security, so there'd have to be something around the national security. So don't, but really, we pay them. We pay them. That's our money that goes into their $173,000 a year salary. And Paul Ryan said a couple years ago, it's not enough. $173,000. If I remember at that time, the average salary in Wisconsin was like $45,000. But please, feel free to check that, because I could be wrong. It was a while ago, but when you're making 3 or 4 times more than the average worker, don't bitch about your salary, especially when that salary is coming. The nice thing about being able to see me is I can see where my bangs are and aren't. See, and no sunshine, so you can't see the color. You can't see the beautiful color. Anyway, don't complain. You're not making enough. When you make more than the population, you're supposed to be helping. You're supposed to be helping. And you're not. You're not. I did see that Paul Ryan, speaking of Paul Ryan, he happens to be my congressman. Feel sorry for me. I'm from the 1st District of Wisconsin. We should sell t-shirts. He just apologized for calling people on disability and needing Social Security takers, because he's trying to look more compassionate. Well, I'm sorry, buddy. That's how you felt. It's just like Rebecca Bradley calling us queers, because that's how she felt. That's how she still feels. And while I'm on that subject, look, don't you love ADHD? While I'm on that subject, how about that Mississippi, huh? Ho-ho! We don't like you gay people. We're one of the worst states in the nation for education, for obesity, for people on welfare. We get more. They're one of the states that gets more money from the federal government than they send every year. But don't let you queers come around. You gay people, not in my state, not in my state. Well, take a good look at North Carolina, who's losing jobs over this. Losing jobs. Cheryl and I just had this conversation. She just loves it when I mention her in a rant. We were just discussing this about how New York, and I can't remember the other state, their governors have already said, all state business, you can't go to Mississippi. And she goes, well, of course not. It just makes, and I'm probably paraphrasing her, it just makes, because Cheryl says things so much more eloquently than I do. It just makes sense. It just makes sense that I wouldn't let my employee go to that state, especially if they're gay, because I have no idea what's going to happen to them. Think about this. First of all, remember the example I used the other day of the guy who works for the roofing company, where he hangs out with a buddy of his with kids, and everybody thinks they're a gay couple. What happens when they go down into that state, and it's okay to discriminate? You are one tiny itty-bitty step away from it's just this one little step from discrimination to brutality. And for those of you sitting there going, oh no, Julie, you're way off base. Really? Really? No. And somebody needs to explain to me why 5 bigots, homophobic bigots, it always takes 5 of you fuckers to beat up on one little gay guy. Really? Really? But my point is once you say it's okay to treat these people differently than you treat anybody else, then you're saying it's okay, you're dehumanizing them. And that leads to brutality. That's why people had no problem lynching African Americans. They dehumanize them, so if they're swinging from a tree, that's nothing. Nothing. That's no more, that's like a dog hanging from a tree. I do not think African Americans are dogs. I realize there are some people out there who will take that out of context and not understand. But if you dehumanize someone, they're not a person. And if they're not a person, then you can do anything you want to them. And you watch. I'll bet Mississippi already has a high brutality rate against gays. I'll bet they do. But I'll bet it'll go up. I also bet that we won't know, because I'll bet they don't classify things as hate crimes. Well, it's just two boys having fun on a Friday night. I don't see what the problem is. I do. So, Mississippi, you're fucked. You were already fucked. And quite frankly, if I lived in a state, and I know I'm a big gal, where we have the highest obesity rate in the entire nation, I'd want some of those cute little gay guys who are thin and work out and keep their bodies in shape to get in the state to lower our obesity rates. Wouldn't you want that? Make you look a little skinnier, make you look a little skinnier, make you look a little healthier. You know those guys. We all know those guys. We all know those guys. And some of them are gay. Gay guys, their bodies are trim. My mom used to call them what a shames. They're out there. They're out there. I would think Mississippi would be going, hey, y'all come down here. We'll pay your gym membership because you all gonna make us look better. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know what happened to the sunshine people, but bring the sunshine into your own life. How'd y'all do yesterday with yesterday's challenge, making 3 people smile and 1 person laugh for bonus points? I managed to do it. I hope you did it too. Let's do it again today. Let's do it again today. Let's up our game. Let's up our game. 4 smiles, 2 laughters. 4 smiles, 2 laughters. Let's bring a little joy into other people's lives. I know I rant. I know I scream. I know I make a lot of noise. I know I clap my hands an awful lot. Stopped at a stoplight. But let's do it, people. Let's do it. Let's start. Everybody who watches Commuting with Julie, start making the world a better place. Start out. Claire, that means you in Australia. You got to wave the flag for us there in Australia. Start making the world a better place. Let's make the world a better place. And let's start with us. Hey, look at that. I got some sun peeking out of the clouds. Y'all have a great day.